Hey guys, it's me Danielle. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about tips you need to know while you're applying for jobs. So as I mentioned in previous videos, I am a senior graphic design major, which means I'm graduating in this coming May and I need to start applying for jobs. So I decided to make this video because I'm pretty sure it would be helpful for those of you who are now looking to start applying for jobs. So I'm going to be talking about the tips I've learned before you even start your application process. So let's get into it. So there are three very important things you need to make sure you have in order before you even start your application. You need to make sure you have a cover letter and resume, you need to make sure your online presence has been checked, and you need to make sure that you have your references all together. So first, let's talk about the cover letter and resume. A lot of us are familiar with resumes because we've been spoken to about them since our high school days. But now when you're applying, it's also important for you to have a cover letter. A lot of applications don't make it mandatory, but it is one of those things that to inform the person reviewing applications of your interest in the job and why you would be a good fit for it, and it does give you a slight advantage over all those who did not submit a cover letter. So what should be on your cover letter? Your cover letter should have your contact information and a short snippet about who you are and why that makes you a good candidate for this position. This is also the opportunity to give a little insight into things you've done probably throughout your college career that would make you the ideal candidate for this position. Only use relevant information to the job you are applying for. That's very, very key, especially when talking about your resume. Again, your resume needs to have your contact information because it's very important that the person reviewing it knows how to get in contact with you, because it'll be pretty trash if you're great for the job but they have no idea of how to reach you and then you miss out because of that small thing. So make sure you have an email, phone number, however you would like them to contact you. So again, your resume needs to have only relevant information. So I would say a short bio about you, your education, of course, your college or whatever technical school you may have gone to that is relevant to this job, and your work history. Now, I'm someone who in college has worked a lot of odd-end jobs, but when I'm applying for a job, especially now, I'm looking for junior designer positions. So I'm only going to put those jobs that I've done that are relevant to that specific position. So I worked as a teacher's assistant, a janitor, a housekeeper, a teacher's assistant, and I've interned at Showtime, and I worked at the newspaper as a layout designer. So I'm only going to put my layout designer position and the time I interned at Showtime on my resume, because being a janitor has nothing to do with applying for a graphic design position. However, those work experiences could be something that you maybe bring up in your interview to kind of play into your strengths and weaknesses, or your experience in different fields that could play as an advantage to you. So it's up to you whether or not you want to use that in an interview, but I would highly recommend against putting that on your resume, especially when you're trying to keep it to a one-page format. And lastly, I would say add your skills. So I know that I'm proficient in Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, those tools. Basic photography skills. If you know coding, HTML, CSS, put that on there. So do highlight your skills relevant to, again, that position you're applying for or your general field. Now let's talk about your online presence. Now in the age of the internet, everyone is searchable. Type your name in Google and see what comes up. And you want to make sure that everything that comes up is either really, really good or things that have to do with your field. So for me as a graphic designer, I make sure to have a portfolio website. Personally, I use Adobe Portfolio because it comes free with my Creative Cloud subscription. But before that, I was using Squarespace, which is a website I strongly recommend. But there are alternatives such as Wix and other websites, but I strongly recommend either Squarespace or Adobe Portfolio. And Squarespace does have a student discount if you sign up with your email address given to you by your school. So I have my portfolio website, and I also use my Instagram account as a secondhand portfolio to show work that I may not deem portfolio worthy, but I want to have a look into like my process or like little things I may do that are related. So think about like who you are and what field you're going to. So for instance, if you are a musician, you may have a website to showcase your music, to talk about like where you may be performing and all that, in addition to a Twitter and Instagram account where you also have pictures of like performances, little small clips. You might have a YouTube channel of your of videos having your performances on them. You might have a link to your SoundCloud. So think about developing that online presence relevant to your fields so that when I see your name on an application, I can look you up and see exactly who you are and what you're about, and have like some work to back up what I already see on your resume. Lastly, let's talk about references. So it is important that you have at least 3 references when you are applying for jobs. You want to have one professor that is in your field, obviously one that you did really well in their class. 2, you want to have a work supervisor that can speak to your work ethic. And 3, you want to have someone that you have either volunteered under or interned with. So that gives a wide range of people who can speak to your skills, skills in your field, whatever you are, and your ability to work with groups, work in a collaborative environment, and someone who can speak to you as a person. I would strongly recommend against using friends and family because that can definitely be seen as bias and that might not hold as much weight. So it's good to find your references now, contact them so they're not blindsided by random calls about you, and list them on maybe like a separate sheet or just have them handy in case your application does ask for them and you can readily make them available. So I hope this video was helpful for you because I'm definitely implementing these tips as I'm going to start applying for jobs like tomorrow. So like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to add any other tips I may have missed about what you need to do before you start your application process. And I wish you the best of luck if you are now applying for jobs as I am. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.